everybody, Kel here. I have been away for a while and I've tried to start this video several times over the months, and today started it several times and I don't know how to jump back in. There has not been any life-changing reason that I haven't been making videos. I don't even really know what direction this channel is going to go in the future, but I just wanted to come back and say hey and show you what I have been doing and maybe talk a little bit about what has changed for me that has kept me from making videos a priority. So one thing that happened was that I retired a 10-year adventure of teaching art and writing classes, and that was called Soul Dare. Some of you may remember that. Some of you may have participated in the Soul Dare experiences. And then I was like just making videos for those classes, making videos for fun, trying to figure out how I fit into the junk journal creative community on YouTube. What do I really want? I'm not a YouTube person who wants to make money or sell anything or even get lots and lots of followers. So I think that that's kind of kept me away for a while because I just wanted to be myself, and myself is a person who likes to share. And I just like to share what I'm doing and inspire and encourage others to feel like confident in doing what they enjoy doing and finding their own voice, finding themselves. I find it interesting that every time there's a transition in my life, it's like I'm trying to find myself again. And so at the beginning of the year, I found this quote, "I am out with lanterns looking for myself," by Emily Dickinson. And so that's kind of been a theme for me this year. Still doing things like building relationships with my family and friends, going out and having fun and looking for things and buying art supplies and honing my own skills, traveling a little bit. What else have I been doing? Still working part-time here at our community center. So yeah, I've just been doing the things, and I've been making journals because that's what I love to do. So I'll move my little lantern. At the beginning of the year, I just had this desire to have a collection of journals that were all of a similar size. And to accomplish that, let me move this up a little bit. I took Reader's Digest covers and have adapted them. So there's one for each month. So let me introduce you. This is January, and I will do a flip through here in a minute. Yeah, that's January. And it ties closed, and it has a cute little cozy skirt, if you will, on it. This is February, and one day I found this quote, "I'm exactly where I need to be," and that was helpful. Because when you're kind of going through a transition, you're asking those questions. What is my purpose? What am I doing? Am I here? All those existential questions. One day I was telling my a family member that I was having an existential crisis, and they said, "Well, everybody is." So, I mean, in general, humans are always having an existential crisis of asking, why do we exist? So I thought that was hilarious and funny and actually encouraging also. This is let's see, we have February, this is March. And some of these I had already made in the past, so this was kind of one that I repurposed for March. It already had the little green and the little charm on it, a 4-leaf clover, and this nice leatherish, leather piece of thing, and then and some elastic. So all of them have a different kind of binding. I'm really just giving my freedom that anything goes, and I can make each journal each month a little bit different in any way I want. Like this one, I found a piece of old quilt cloth, or someone had started like a crazy quilt, I think, and I covered the whole cover, so you can't even see the original cover anymore. And I covered the inside too with that same kind of stuff. So that was April. Curiosity. And then this is May. I'm going to put this from more of a down because I think that would be better. So, and then this is May, which I've just started. And this one I kept the original cover, and then I just added some yellow fabric on the spine to reinforce it. And just been thinking about bouquets in May because the flowers are coming. And yeah, and actually made several journals for May, but this one is kind of turning into kind of my documenting and playing around with ideas in my journal. And so yeah, so why don't I go ahead and just do kind of a flip through, and as we flip through some pages, maybe that'll bring up some more thoughts on what I've been doing and where I've been going and all that good stuff. It's a little fish button. I do love water, and we do have a boat that we like to travel on and kind of camp out on once in a while. That's what we did for our vacation this year. So anything nautical usually brings me joy in my journals. And this was a cool Reader's Digest that I had also made this one a while back. But I added some fabric, and I added this cool fabric spine. So if I think of it, I'll kind of tell you who inspired me. Francisca Nunes had a class, and she made these kind of spines with bits of fabric sewed together and then cut down to fit as a spine. So, and she also put these kind of little frilly skirts on them, so I was copying that. This one, I haven't even sewn the signature in at all. I got this reproduction of a book plate from a website. Don't remember when or where, because I just consume information and then I incorporate it into my life. So sometimes I document who I got the information from, and sometimes I don't. And I think that's real life. This is a cute little girl that I put in there. And then at the beginning of January, I didn't end up doing Junk Journal January this year. I just kind of, like I said, I've been kind of doing my own thing. So I might have looked at the prompts, but I didn't really do them. And then did pick a word this year. My word's play, but I struggle with it. I don't know why, but it seems, kind of frivolous sometimes, but play has a lot of meaning, and I'm glad that I picked it, and I'm sticking with it. And one aspect of play to me is that there's enjoyment and joy in life. And then one day, I don't know if I thought of this or I read it somewhere, but joy is a cause. And I think it is. And then, yeah, I noticed I've been writing more with adding doodles instead of just painting or doing mixed media in these documentation journals. You'll see as we go through things that I talk about, I'm slowing down. Not only am I slowing down this year, but I'm heading towards the decade of the 60s. So I've been thinking about that a lot. So I will consciously last year thought I want a slower pace because I know my body's going to slow down and probably even my mind's going to slow down. So I want to kind of, prepare for that and start slowing down now, because I have always been a very busy, fast-paced person. So the joy of moving quietly through your days, feeling your life wrap gently around you. And I think that was either, I don't always remember to, it's not that I don't want to make attributions, I just don't remember to document it. And then this, at the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my YouTube, documentation of what I was watching. So I did in my own way, just on scrap pieces of paper. Melissa Reed. You guys can look some of these people up on your own. Nina Rabina, Jackie Schomburg, and Bitter Bird Song. So I'm always enjoying different artists and different people on YouTube. And then I kind of go for a while watching one, and then I move over to another. I found this one lady called Two Old Crows, and she was creating neutral papers. Yeah, so I know you can't read all of this. Robin Marie Smith, Michelle Holden. Again, I encourage you to just go and, you know, find people that you resonate with and watch them. And that's how I find them, is by other people telling me. And so that's why I'm just mentioning their names in passing. But you can, you know, rewind this video and look up those names and pause and write them down and record them however works for you. And then this was an idea of just taking snippets of pieces of paper and just piling them together and then just stapling them with one staple. And these were some scraps from a scrapbooking retreat that I had. So there's even a, that I went to, that I went to, that I even have a section of the photos on that. So it just keeps going. I've been doing those little acronym poems, scraps, saving, collecting, recycling, accumulating, plenty of inspiration. So, and since there's writing in here, I'm not gonna pause a lot on the writing because I haven't gone back and read it yet, so I don't even know what they say. This is a cool stack of books. So you see I have scraps in here again. Here's that scrap idea, and I put it on like a bookmark. So just the little edges, it was kind of just indicated because I had all those scraps when I was at the retreat. And this was from an ad on YouTube. The human body is not really a thing. It is more of a process. I thought that was very interesting, especially as I'm contemplating aging. This is kind of some inky paper I was playing around with. These were some other people that I subscribed to. So I'll pause here for a second so you can read some of the names. Yeah, you can take a screenshot if you want. And then this was a little cute little library pocket that I put something in. I have the sticker of this car. I don't know where I want to put it. I like this, not blank. I don't know. It's a good prompt, right? I'm not happy. I'm not sad. I'm not whatever. I'm not gonna go there. I love filling in blank things. Let's see, where can we put this little fast car? Maybe at the end. So you can see also I did not finish this journal because I just moved on to something else probably. I do take a journal to work, and so sometimes I was taking just a regular writing notebook to work. This was left over for some Christmas images that I had. And this was kind of cool. I've been writing down like art supplies I often forget about. My Stabilo All, gel medium, and vintage papers. And by writing that down, I did start using the Stabilo All and gel medium more, and tried to kind of go through my vintage papers. And it's hard to use vintage papers. The best way to overcome some of that is to just make copies of it first, and then use them. And then I've been, working on using the actual papers too, which you'll probably see as I go along. But anyway, yeah, and I learned that I don't really like the black Stabilo All, especially for drawing, because I just overwork it, and it's not the best. So, all right, I still don't know where to put this car. Let's just put it down. See, that's how you do these things. But I think I don't know, I probably got this sticker at the scrapbooking retreat, and I thought, ooh, this is kind of the antonym of slowing down, right? Racing ahead. So it's a good fun thing to look at. All right, so there we go. I can find a quote to put there later. So I am okay with not finishing journals because I can go back to them and add stuff. I collect stuff from the months, and you know, I might find something, oh yeah, that was from January, I'll glue that down in there. That's another thing I noticed, at least in January, I wasn't gluing down a lot of stuff from Everyday Ephemera. This was another, you know, in the winter sometimes I get down and get in a dark mood, so I wrote this little poem. I just kind of had an awareness that I was dreading things. I was dreading getting older. I was dreading the long winter. I was dreading just the changes that come in life as everyone is aging around me. So anyway, I wrote down doldrums, ricocheting ideas, energy sapped, assuming things, deadly habit. Instead say, woohoo, live in the moment. I think I was listening to like a meditation and it actually works to say woohoo when you're feeling down. I mean, I know if you're like in really a dark place, it's probably not going to help, but it is helpful just for my, you know, daily kind of struggle. At work, one of my coworkers said February is the Tuesday of months. We have a lot of fun at work. I'm probably on, there's like not half of us. A handful of us are older, 50 plus, and the rest are 30 and below. So it's always hilarious, and we like to joke around a lot. So yeah, see, again, you can see that I'm doing a lot more writing. And then every once in a while, just doing a little sketch and writing down a quote. Play is the highest form of research. That really was a quote that helped me embrace the idea of play, because there's like a mix of seriousness and fun in that, right? And it's from Einstein. So, and then I was thinking about purpose, saying woohoo. I wrote down some books that I borrowed from the library. This was funny. I at work, sometimes at work is slow, or I'm at this over in this one section by myself, and so I would find something like on Pinterest to inspire me. And so these were all things that happened at work in the month of February, or something that I found out about my coworkers. Like I found out that one of them studied Latin like I did, so that was cool. So yeah, here we go. Just lots of more writing. Ask for directions or help. Some scribbles, some magazine images. This one comes down. I have some receipts in there. So I did put a few receipts. I put the green finch. I think this was, it probably wasn't one of the first ones, but it was a receipt that I kept from there. That's the bar that my son and his business partner own. Yeah, so love it. Here's another little fun collage thing. So yeah, I did do some collages. I think on Super Bowl Sunday I did a impromptu glue booking party on Instagram, because I had missed that. I used to do that. We did that for years, and then both myself and Yvonne, who did it the most, just decided that we needed to move on and do some other things. So but I missed that community, so I did that. These are sticky notes that I wrote on and then glued in here. A little flag from lunch at a Mexican food place. And then I skipped some pages. I'm looking for Hig. I don't know how to say it. I am okay. I am missing the past. I am fine. Exactly where, how, what, when, who, and why I am to be. And I was answering these questions. How are you? What are you looking for? And what are you missing? So this is stuck. There. I did some painting. I was missing acrylics. And I don't think I think I want this to be glued down, but maybe, I guess it is. This was from like when I went to have my car work done. I don't really know how that got, I probably glued it down, but now I'm like, I don't want this glued down anymore. I want to see this. Okay, let's see. Who knows? Alright, well, I can do something with that. And this was, oh, my son did a show at the theater that they own on leap year. That was fun. So I just wanted that in there. This was an envelope that I decorated with fabric and a little flower. And then again, I had so many pages in here that I didn't really finish it. My son mentioned when he had a role in Annie Get Your Gun, and he gave me the program from that, and I made a little memory thing in there. Yeah, so that was February. February, the shortest long month. And then March, this is at the beginning of the month. I just put a notebook in here. I made this more like a Midori, and I did some writing in this notebook. This is mostly all just writing. So again, I think I had really been missing a lot of writing. Yeah. And then this one I was doing, this is where we went on our vacation. We went to Bay St. Louis and stayed at this marina. So, and there, on the road trip there, I collected some things, and this was my palette that I took with me. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, I gotta start all over. No, I'm not gonna start all over. Sorry for the times that I missed, that I was out of frame. Yeah, so these were just things that I thought about and worked on while we were in Mississippi. So I was wanting to detox on that trip and kind of cut back on certain things. But I didn't cut back on sugar, because I love sugar. I mean, like sweet treats. And this was just an idea to like put little squares and write stuff in it. I didn't write anything in those. I made a color wheel out of magazine images. A little collage of stuff that I had. I was kind of taking a break from YouTube as well. So, but I still, so instead of watching YouTube, I watched classes that I had bought along the way. And then by the end of the trip, I was watching some more YouTube again. But yeah, again, lots of writing and taking notes on the classes that I was catching up on. And yeah, that was a little sketch I did on the way there. So it was fun. And I did have a second journal on that trip that actually ended up having 2 more. So in March, I realized that I like to have more than one journal. So maybe on another video, I'll show you what the alternate ones were. This was April. This is some crayons. They're like fabric crayons, and you draw and then you iron them down. I had these pins and beads in my stash on the trip, and I added them to the side. And then this was a friend and I exchanged some inspiration, and she gave, wait a minute, she didn't give me this. I found this in a magazine. Anyway, we did do that too. And then I just kind of traced it with tracing paper and colored it. And this was when I was getting ready to come back home. I said, I'm ready. And this was about the middle of the trip. And they had this nice cafe there, so I would go there. So this one has a little bit more, because it's travel. It has a little bit more of the kind of the ephemera glued down in it. This was a sketch I did of the depot, the train depot there. Just things that I liked or had. Gluing things down, adding in pages with tape. This was one of the images that my friend gave me for inspiration. Yeah, and this was in there too, and I just used it as a page in a book. in this book. And then I was playing around with the jelly plate and drawing faces on the jelly plate. More kind of vintage ephemera. So I say I glued it in there. Brush dyed. Then let's see. When I was in Bay St. Louis, there was this community garden, and they had these garden tables. So I wanted Les. I asked Les to make me one when I got back, and he did, and it was cool. Pringles, one of my favorite snacks. This was a cool little just paint splotch that looked like a bird to me. And so that was, and this was just some stuff that I got while I was there, and I was just kind of writing down what my ultimate travel kit would be. Some more little things that just left over. I had a journal about that had Georgia O'Keeffe quotes in it. This was, I didn't ever do this, but I was going to try to draw this girl. And then this was something from a book from the library that I copied about how to make a travel journaling kit. Again, I probably didn't write down what book that was from. And then I was just drawing some of my basics: scissors, glue, and a pen. It's a boat. And this was my favorite shop there. They had lots of little shops in this one building. And then just questions to ask about ideas. Should I return to my blog or YouTube? My writing goals, intention, and ideas. What do I want to share? So I was thinking about that on that trip. I like this. I traced her from a magazine, and then I just put this fun hair on her. And I found this quote: "What's the best that could happen?" And then there's a little doll hiding in there. Not sure. Oh, I guess I did. This one I did kind of almost fill up. This was from a book that I found at one of those little libraries from the cover. And I cut it out because I like that girl. And just more things. This was a fun image that my friend gave me. My coat is a house for my body. My hat is a house for my head. And then this was just some tissue paper that I had painted on with watercolor or watered down acrylic. And then a tag from something that I had. And then this was an idea of what to put on a page, like the important fact of the day, sketch something, write down the sunrise and sunset and the weather. And then I made a little stamp with my initials. And I painted these little flowers and cut them out. And there's my sketch. And it was sunny that day. And these are all the strings that I could put charms on. There's a little fairy. April 29th. We were back home. Some more sketching. This was a bag that I glued in from McDonald's. And I'm putting little stickers wherever I wanted. I liked that girl. She seemed happy. This was an eco print that I made a couple years ago. This was another thing from my friend that talked about the sound of water. And then a card, blank card that she gave me. And I put some things inside of it. And this was another cool quote that I found when I got home. Collections do not leave the collector unaffected. The art of collecting results in a certain turn of mind. And then it said, on that it said, thank you so much, because of the mushrooms, but I said, so much love. Life is sweet. Life can be hard. It's okay to slow down. It's good to say no. It's okay to say yes. And those were thoughts of mine. And then this was cool. This was a magazine image, and it said, it's Kismet. And then this was a little word thing that either I found or my friend gave me. It says, eat, dance, and love. And this was an interesting Thoreau wealth is the ability to fully experience life. And this is just a piece of scrap in a pocket. So I like having that, and then these were just holding that together. And then May, only a few days into May, but this is my May one. And it's, I just wanted something simple again. And in this one, this journal was mine. I put some little decals in there, and I've been adding things as I go. And I have this Fabric with Fairies on it, so May makes me think of spring and the fairies. So I put one of these fairies in each of my journals for May. This is some fabric. I'm trying to remember how I sewed this one in. Oh, I sewed it into this cover and then glued that whole cover in because I didn't want to have threads out there. So it's kind of like a hidden spine. Okay, so that's how that one was. So yeah, so here's, and it has 3 signatures. Cute little image. And I had, the same friend gave me some little things that I could sketch, and so I didn't use them on my trip, so I ended up putting them in this book so I could sketch this spring in the month of May. And these are some stamps that I got, rubber stamps. And then that's it. They haven't added much else in here. Oh, I did do some rubber stamping throughout because I just got some new ones from a resale shop. So, cute little girl. So there's this Love is Spoken here. This one I did lots of them. So I will come back again and show you some of the other journals that I've had, you know, kind of like little detour journals that I have that are not from this series because I like to spread out. And then maybe we'll do a process video together soon. So thanks for letting me share, and I will be back soon. Bye for now.